The lights inside the arena burned hot, reflecting off polished canvas and sweat-soaked ambition, as the crowd rose to greet two fighters standing at very different crossroads of their careers. From Venezuela came Jorge El Niño de Oro Linares, a former two-time world champion whose silky hands and textbook technique once marked him as boxing's next great artist. From the United States stood Rocky Juarez, a relentless pressure fighter, forged by heartbreak and near misses, still chasing the defining victory that had always slipped just out of reach. The applause rolled like thunder as the fighters touched gloves, not just acknowledging each other, but acknowledging the weight of their shared pasts. Linares carried the scars of devastating knockout losses and public doubt, whispers that his chin betrayed his brilliance. Juarez carried the burden of tough defeats in big moments, fights where courage was never questioned, but results were cruel. This was not merely a contest of punches. It was a battle for redemption. The opening bell rang, and immediately the contrast was clear. Linares glided lightly on his toes, jabbing with precision, testing distance like a chess master setting traps. Juarez stalked forward, hands high, eyes locked, willing to take one to give one. Every jab from Linares snapped sharply, drawing murmurs from the crowd, while Juarez's pressure kept the tension thick, reminding everyone that one mistake could change everything. The arena buzzed with anticipation, the sense that this fight would not be hurried, that it would unfold layer by layer, round by round, revealing who had truly learned from the pain of the past. As the early rounds settled into rhythm, Linares began to show the discipline of a man reborn. Gone was the reckless pride that once led him into danger. In its place stood patience, structure, and a clear plan. He doubled and tripled the jab, snapping Juarez's head back just enough to disrupt his forward march. The Venezuelan's feet told their own story, sliding laterally, pivoting away from the ropes, refusing to be trapped. Juarez, however, refused to be discouraged. He pressed behind a high guard, digging to the body when opportunities appeared, absorbing shots to close distance. The crowd reacted to every exchange, gasping when Linares threaded clean right hands through Juarez's guard, roaring when Rocky answered back with thudding hooks that reminded everyone of his power. Linares mixed in sharp left uppercuts, punches that split defenses and lifted heads, scoring cleanly and often. Juarez's face began to show the effects, swelling, redness, but his resolve never wavered. This was a thinking man's fight now, a test of composure versus aggression. Linares was winning the rounds with accuracy and control, yet the tension never faded because Juarez's presence alone carried danger. One mistimed step, one lazy exit, and the fight could turn. The audience sensed it, commentators felt it, and both fighters knew it. This was chess played with fists, and every move mattered. By the middle rounds, the story deepened. Linares's confidence grew, his combinations flowing with a rhythm that spoke of long hours in the gym and lessons learned the hard way. Right hands found their mark, followed by slicing uppercuts that snapped Juarez's head upward, drawing sharp reactions from the crowd. Statistics would later tell the tale of Linares's accuracy, but in the moment, it was visible in the way Juarez was forced to reset, to pause, to think. Still, Rocky Juarez fought on with admirable heart. He dug deep, landing hard shots of his own, particularly when Linares lingered too long after punching. There were moments when Juarez backed Linares toward the ropes, unleashing flurries that reignited the crowd and hinted at momentum shifts that never quite arrived. Then came the turning point, the kind of moment that defines fights and careers. A perfectly timed left uppercut from Linares pierced Juarez's guard and sent him crashing to the canvas. The arena erupted as Juarez struggled to his feet, pride wounded but spirit intact. Linares did not rush foolishly. Instead, he pressed with calculated aggression, sensing control rather than desperation. The knockdown was more than a scoring advantage, it was a statement. It said Linares had mastery not just of technique, but of timing, of nerves, of the moment itself. Juarez rose, battered but unbroken, and the fight surged forward with renewed intensity, every second carrying the weight of what had just happened. The later rounds were a study in fatigue, resolve, and the fine line between dominance and danger. Linares continued to land the cleaner, sharper punches, his jab still snapping, his right hand still finding openings, his left uppercut remaining a constant threat. Juarez, though visibly worn, summoned every ounce of courage he had left. He pushed forward, throwing power shots and bursts, hoping for that one opening that could erase everything that had come before. The crowd responded to his effort, cheering the warrior spirit even as Linares' skill kept him a step ahead. Linares' corner urged him to show heart as well, to prove that beneath the elegance lived grit, and he answered. When Juarez landed, Linares stood his ground. When pressure mounted, Linares fired back. The exchanges were fierce, the stakes unmistakable. This was not about belts tonight. It was about belief. Linares believed in his rebirth, in his new discipline and renewed focus. Juarez believed that perseverance alone could still carry him to glory. Each round closed with applause, the audience aware they were witnessing not just a fight, but a narrative of resilience written in sweat and bruises. When the final bell sounded, both fighters stood exhausted, faces marked, chests heaving, knowing the truth of what had transpired. 10 rounds of disciplined brilliance, relentless pressure, and unyielding heart had led them here. As the judges' scorecards were read, the tension dissolved into certainty. By unanimous decision, the victory belonged to Jorge "El Niño de Oro" Linares. The announcement echoed through the arena as Linares raised his hands, not in arrogance, but in quiet vindication. This win was proof that he had learned, adapted, and survived his darkest moments. For Rocky Juarez, defeat came once more, but so did respect. Respect for a fighter who never stopped coming, who forced greatness to reveal itself. In the end, this fight was more than highlights and numbers. It was a story of two men chasing redemption in different ways, meeting in the ring to test whether skill, heart, or will would prevail. On this night, precision and patience ruled, and Jorge Linares reminded the world why he was once called the Golden Boy, and why, against doubt and history, he could be again.